Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Happy holidays and welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Ric Davis, and I urge you to follow me on social media at Prime Real Estate Ric. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Ric, and I welcome everyone to also follow us on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. I thank everyone for tuning in this week. We have a really exciting episode planned. Today's episode we're going to discuss business funding. So if we know any friends, family, co-workers, acquaintances that have ideas for business startups that have recently started their own business and need to learn more information about how to fund their vision and bring that vision to reality, this is the episode for them. As always, my co-host is not only a Texas real estate broker, but he's also an author and he's also a serial entrepreneur. And as always, I'd like to welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network audience my co-host, the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
What's going on, Rick? I appreciate that warm welcoming in this. And of course, like I always say, it's always good to be back in front of you all, listening to us from the different areas and also taking us out on YouTube. So, Rick, I am excited, man, because typically during this time of year, I give out gifts to the clients that send me the most referrals. And most of the times those gifts are similar to this one right here. Similar to this basket that I have right here, right, guys? So you may be able to see it. I'm going to cover myself up just a little bit to show it off. But this is a basket that we create that typically goes to my clients that send me the most referrals. And what I send it out to is whatever their favorite sports team is. So it'd be for them and one other friend or a spouse of their favorite sports team. Well, today, what I'm going to be doing is for whomever tags the most people in this particular video, whomever shares this week's podcast or this week's show the most, I'm going to give it to you. Now, I'm going to be honest. It is my Texans gear. And as you know, we're 10-4, so it's beautiful. So you'll be getting some winning merchandise. But inside of there's tons of things. Koozies, 2 sets of hats, 2 sets of T-shirts, 2 sets of canisters, just anything you could think of that you're going to need for a great tailgate. That's what we have inside of that. So for whomever, again, it's going out to whatever channel you may follow us on, but whomever takes an opportunity to share, tag as many people as you can. And next week when we come in, we will announce who it is that won. I'll take the weekend to count the numbers, count the people that have shared, and then next week we'll announce who won. But I'm excited, man.
Oh, no, that's super duper generous, man. And I'm sure whoever wins that gift will be absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness gracious. They're going to be absolutely knocked out when they see all of the stuff that's in there, because that's a really nice gift set, man. So, Larry, thank you very much for offering that to our viewers.
I almost feel like I want the blanket out of there myself, but it's okay. It's okay.
Well, now they'll know if you take it. So that's the tough part. But the gifts keep on coming at the Prime Real Estate Network, because today someone who is either listening to this podcast or is viewing this video is going to have an opportunity to change their life, because today we're going to give you the ins and outs about how to go about funding your new business ventures and your business startups. So without any further ado, I want to introduce today's guest. Today's guest is the founder of RocketSpeed Funding. So to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, I would like to welcome our guest, Mr. John Stampley.
Hello. I just want to first thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me and for having me to come on your platform here to share some things about business funding. As they mentioned, my name is John Stampley. I'm the founder of RocketSpeed Funding. We help entrepreneurs, startups, and new businesses and small businesses get access to funding for their businesses, generally in 3 weeks or less. And oftentimes we can do it with very little documentation as well. So happy to be here and just excited to be here. So.
Oh no, because see, this is we gonna get this started because this episode got to be 100 miles and running because this is the end of the year and we're getting close to New Year's Eve and everybody is making their promises to themselves for 2019. Right. Everybody's telling their significant other, family members how they're gonna push their business to the next level. Everybody's setting their 2019 goals. So John, let's talk a little bit about why small business owners and entrepreneurs need to come to you for startup funding and how important it is to start off on a good foot from that standpoint.
That's actually a really good point, Rick. A lot of people make their New Year's resolutions, and a lot of them are financial. They're financial, health related, are two common ones.
Absolutely.
And the reality is that most people have great ideas, and the only challenge is a lot of people don't get started for one reason or another. And a lot of times a big part of that has to do with how are you going to fund it? How are you going to get access to funding to start your business? And one thing I want to at least share in terms of business funding is that here in this country, nearly the majority of businesses that are started in this country are started with $10,000 or less.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of people like to believe that everything has to be a big fundraise or you need to raise millions of dollars to launch your ideas or to get your ideas or your business or your company or your ideas off the ground. But the reality is most businesses and ventures are started with very little money.
Wow.
But one of the challenges with conventional funding for businesses is that the conventional routes that people generally take to get funding is either they're going to go through a bank. And generally, in order to get business loans, generally speaking, you're going to have a lot of extensive documentation. They want to see that your business is seasoned. They want to see all your paperwork. They might want to see future projections, and it's a very complicated, tedious process.
Yes, it is.
And even the SBA process is a long process to go through the Small Business Administration to get funding for your business. And then the other idea is that this is a more exciting thing. You see a lot of people talking about raising a lot of money, and they go and they have to do fundraising rounds and all these different things. And one thing you'll find is that a lot of times people will raise a ton of money, and their idea may not even be profitable.
Wow.
So
no one ever considers I raised $1 million and I have a bad idea.
Yeah, you know what I mean. One thing that's actually taking off now is at least in the startup community is bootstrapping. It's been around for a while, but it's getting enough money that you need to launch your idea. So I don't want to take too much time here, but part of what we do is we help people get access to funding so that they can start their businesses. And generally speaking, the funding that we get for our clients is normally in the range of around $20,000. It may be 18, 15, 23, 25. Something along those lines. But the beauty of this funding is that it's going to be in the name of your business, so it'll be business funding that you can use. Okay. But also, it's a very simple process, low documentation. You don't have to show any bank statements. Yeah. It doesn't matter how old your business is. Wow. So we're getting funding for people who've had a business for just several months, as well as for people that have had business for years. So, and that's kind of
that's an amazing concept, John. Because even I think back about it myself when me and Michael started Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, and just this was 10 years ago, and it was just difficult. Just everyone wanted you to already have money, right? They didn't think loans, banks. You walked into a bank was like, okay, I'll give you some money, but if you got 20 grand, I'll give you 20 grand. If you ain't got zero, I'm not. Like, no one wants to listen to it. So just listening to the way that you're describing the process is just so different nowadays. That's a great program. Yeah.
And I want to ask you, John, just for everyone who may be viewing and hearing this particular episode of the pod, what does your typical client look like? Just from a big picture perspective, just so that people can understand that we're talking to them.
Yeah. I mean, and in fact, I can answer both of you all's last responses, because the reality is that, and before I get to your question, the reality is that oftentimes the people that have the easiest opportunity to get to funding generally barely need it, and the people that need the funding the most generally can't get access to it. And the types of people that we generally can help are the ones that are somewhere in the middle. They're the people that qualify for the funding, which, like I said, is not necessarily based on your business so much as more on the person, but it's people that qualify, and then people that need access to that money to launch their ideas. And what the demographics of that person looks like, what that kind of the profile of a typical client is going to be someone that normally has around a 700 credit score. Someone that has at least 5 years of credit history, along, like, generally they might have a couple of personal credit cards. They may have a car loan. They don't necessarily need a mortgage, but different types of credit, generally at least 5 years. And generally a personal credit card with at least a $5,000 balance. And then we would like to see them using at least 30% of their personal credit cards.
Yeah.
So in other words, you can't have your credit cards maxed out. So you want to have at least,
Right.
if you have let's just say whatever it is, it could be a $10,000 limit just for simple numbers. We want to see that you have less than $3,000 balance that you're holding. And then for the last 2 years, no late payments, no bankruptcies. So that's kind of what someone looks like. It's someone that has strong personal credit. Doesn't have to be an 800 credit score, but someone that's making good use of their credit. And the reality is we do get results for people that are a little bit outside of that, but that's kind of an ideal client. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
I know, and a lot of times, Larry as well as myself, when we're in and around the city, networking, speaking, having speaking engagements, we run into a lot of real estate investors. I know you get this a lot, Larry, as far as real estate investors who want to pick your brain about certain things.
And a lot of time, like you said as well, like a lot of times, is that something, so I guess when it comes to this type of funding, is it also open to people that are maybe looking to get into more the real estate investment aspect of it, or how do you feel about that, John?
That's actually a really good question as well. I mean, and quite frankly, the reason, I mean, I founded this company, RocketSpeed Funding, because I actually use this stuff on myself. So I know you hear people say that, a lot of times entrepreneurship in general, people launch their ideas a lot of times based on the fact of a need that they saw in themselves. You know what I mean? Something that they needed that they couldn't find in the market, or something that they were already using and people asked them about it. So, my background is in real estate investing in general. I still invest in real estate.
I know. I remember some of them checks coming across the desk.
Anyway. But anyway, so I actually got into using similar products that we now provide for our clients on myself. And my background story on this is I remember coming across a real estate deal, and I was in a situation. It was a small apartment complex, and I was met with the owner, and just I can tell a little bit of a dramatic story. But I remember being at home and being on the computer and typing away and seeing this real estate deal. And I'm like, oh man, I called and I made a call on it, and I went out there that day and I went and walked the property. It was a raggedy building, just to be frank with you. And the one of the things that's most memorable about it is I remember walking in one of the apartments and wondering what was on the floor. It was so sticky, and I think someone literally poured syrup on the floor in one of the units. A couple of them were abandoned. There were people living in it, and it was a raggedy property, but I wanted it. And I happened to actually speak with the owner. I was there talking with the tenants and doing some due diligence, looking around, and I remember a guy pulled up, and I started talking with him, and I came to realize that he was the owner. And me and him actually started talking, and we probably talked for a few hours that day.
Wow.
And I finally came to him. I said, listen, I'll be honest, I got enough money. I got enough money to buy it or rehab it, but really not both. And quite frankly, we were able to work something out, and we did that deal. And I use the same kind of funding that I'm helping clients get now to actually do that project, to pay contractors, to buy materials, to get the job done, to do repairs, and even quite frankly to pay the mortgage until I got it up and running. So
when you do it from that angle, but that's still not, you're still not hard money loaning though, right?
This is not hard money lending.
Okay.
No, this is
good to know.
It's unsecured funding. The reality is you can use it for any purpose that you want.
Okay.
So it's not like generally speaking, a hard money loan or a conventional or a secured loan is going to normally have some kind of an asset backing it. So the unsecured funding is something that you can use for anything. And I was able to use that to take care of real estate related things that I need to take care of. So it definitely can be used for real estate investors. And
I wanted to ask that because of the platform. I most definitely wanted the viewership and the people that are listening to us to kind of know what that looks like. So
exactly.
No, let's help them out, John. So someone who may be hearing your message right now for the first time, what is the first step they need to take?
The first step that you need to take is you can just go directly to our website, which is RocketSpeedFunding.com. On that website, of course, we have information. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see on every page there's a button that says Apply Now. And on that Apply Now button, you'll click that. It's going to take you less than 30 seconds to fill it out. Basically, just your contact information, your name. Either myself or someone from our company will get in contact with you, and we'll get the ball rolling. Like I said, generally, we're getting people results, access to their funding within 3 weeks or less. So I'd encourage you just to go to that website, RocketSpeedFunding.com.
Oh, no, that's outstanding information. I thank you so much for sharing. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, I want to talk to you a little bit about your professional background, some of your mentors and inspirations, and how they helped you to evolve to start and grow the business that you're currently in now. So if you wouldn't mind, I would like for you to talk to our viewers a little bit about that when we get back.
Absolutely.
So everyone, stay tuned to the Prime Real Estate Network. We're going to take a short break to hear a message from our sponsor.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Happy holidays and welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't currently follow me on social media, I urge everyone to do so. You can follow me on social media at Prime Real Estate Ric. Once again, that's at Prime Real Estate Ric. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I would also like to urge everyone to subscribe to the Prime Real Estate Network YouTube channel. When you subscribe, please leave a kind comment, and on iTunes, Google Play, Stitchers, or Spotify, please leave a 5-star rating and a kind review, because Larry and myself would definitely appreciate it.
Yes, we will.
In our first segment, we were speaking with today's guest, Mr. John Stampley. He's the founder of RocketSpeed Funding, and we were discussing new business startup financing and how to get your new ideas and new business ventures off the ground. So I want to welcome Mr. John Stampley back to the conversation, and thank you so much, John, for being with us this week.
Well, thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm happy to be here to be able to share some ideas and some ways that people can help to launch their business, particularly since we're coming on the end of the year and we'll be in a new year just in a couple weeks now.
Yep.
Now, everyone who watches this episode or hears our podcast may not have someone in their business or social circles who started their own funding company. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your business background, where you started and how you evolved to the point where you decided that I'm going to start my own funding entity and I'm going to start helping people bring their dreams to reality.
To be honest, what you just said is exactly probably one of the main reasons why I got started doing this. The reality is a lot of people want to be in business. There's a lot of different social pushes, I'll just say, not social pushes, but social movements. I think one of them is called FIRE, where it's, basically it's an acronym, but it's relating to people kind of getting financially independent as early on in their life as possible, and then having their time to do as they please. Mm-hmm. So for myself, I've been an entrepreneur now for at least probably 10 years. I always say 7 or 8, but it's getting longer. Right. So I've been an entrepreneur for at least the last 10 years, and there's something very enjoyable about being able to have a lot of control over your time, whether that's during the day, whether that's when you choose not to work. So I recognize that a lot of people have that desire to have that control and that freedom in their life, and that's something that normally, very often, business ownership and real estate, for that matter, Mr. Real Estate King right here, Texas Real Estate King. Yeah. So are a couple things that generally those things can provide. Yeah. So part of the reason for starting this business was to help people at least get access to that initial funding that they need. Right. And a lot of times, a lot of the people that will help will be people that are in the trucking industry. There'll be other real estate investors. They can be people that have a hair salon. A lot of people that just have businesses where they might want to have funding to the side should they need it, right, or funding that they might need right now to be able to cover certain expenses. So
no, that's interesting.
So that's kind of how I got into to assist those people and reaching their dreams and helping to make their businesses a reality. For those reasons, because I know that this stuff works, because I still use it for myself.
I know that's right.
I still use it for myself.
So it's funny because every episode that we have the pleasure of taping here for our viewers and people who listen to us online, me and Larry always ask all of our guests, who was your initial inspiration? Because something that we found as a common thread with most entrepreneurs is that from a young age, everyone can always go back to one of their earlier memories of that first go-getter, that first person who showed you like, whoa, this person doesn't necessarily go to work every day like everyone else, but they seem to be flourishing and they seem to be around when I'm up watching cartoons when everybody else is leaving. So who was that for you? Who gave you that initial spark that motivated you and got you on your road?
That question is actually really making me think. You know, sometimes we get asked questions and they're familiar. It's like personal questions, like what do you like to do? It's like, well, I know what I like to do. But to think back to the initial people, I'm gonna have to say that I'm actually wearing his cufflinks right now. I don't know if you can see him.
Represent.
These are my granddad's. I actually never met him.
That was clean.
But
Wow.
these are actually my
Birthright.
granddad's. Yeah, these are my granddad's cufflinks.
Yeah.
Saw a bunch, and he actually was a home builder.
Oh, wow.
He owned property in Chicago.
Wow.
He bought properties in a way at a time when you had to go through an attorney sometimes because people didn't want you to buy properties. In fact, still, when you buy properties today, if anyone that buys properties on a regular basis is aware of, there's clauses in real estate contracts that exclude certain people of certain colors, particularly black people among other people, from buying in certain areas.
Yeah.
And now every time you buy a property, there's an exclusion that you sign off, that pretty much, since that's illegal now to do that, they exclude that from the documentation and title when you transfer title. But the reality is those were enforced once upon a time. So if people of certain color tried to buy a property, you couldn't buy it.
Yep.
And the only workaround that was using attorneys and different things like that. So my grandfather was not only a home builder in Chicago, but he also owned real estate in Chicago, and they would often buy properties in a workaround kind of a way like that. So that's the history. That's my blood right. That's where it's part of what I come from. And also, in addition to that, I have an aunt and uncle, my aunt Nene. Aunt Nene. And,
show love. We show love here. Tell them, Larry.
Aunt Nene and her and Fred, my uncle Fred. They owned a lot of real estate in Chicago as well. So I remember watching them at a young age. My uncle Michael, I used to work with a hammer and everything and dirty clothes.
Right.
At some of his properties when I was a teenager.
Wow.
My parents still have some rentals in Chicago. So those are some of my history in terms of why entrepreneurship and who I saw at a young age that helped to seed the idea.
No, what makes that so
and if
powerful.
you can do it in Chicago, you can do it anywhere.
There you go.
Because
absolutely.
they were.
There you go.
That's where really redlining and all those things really kicked out very, very heavily, was in the Chicago area. So wow.
No,
Yeah, so that's a great question. Funny thing, I haven't even thought about that in a long time.
No,
so I'm
because
glad you asked that.
that's very powerful, because I think sometimes as adults we underestimate the power of the images we show the youth. And I'm sure now that we've had opportunity to do that reflection for you personally, it's amazing that people would expect anything different from you.
Yeah.
When you're raised in that type of environment, you have a grandfather whose memory is being kept alive through tales of his triumphs and successes. It almost makes it where the pressure is on you to succeed versus letting life get you down. So I want to commend your Aunt Nene, your granddad, and the people in your family who kept that legacy going, because that's how it's always been throughout the generations. You tell these tales of your ancestors and the things that they achieved, so that you as a young person know, it's in me.
Yep.
I mean, I might get off on wearing tennis shoes all the time and t-shirts, but if I keep studying and educate myself, I can evolve to actually achieve what my birthright says I should.
Absolutely.
And wearing fedoras the way you wear them. You look good on them. You look good in them fedoras. I'm just saying.
No, and John, I definitely, because with our podcast being 30 minutes, I try to make sure, and I'm sure Larry would echo these same sentiments, we try to get as much information to the public as we can in the amount of time that we're allotted. So I've been totally floored by some of the information that you've shared, and I've been super duper surprised at how much access the everyday working man and woman has to startup capital. Larry, I mean,
it's amazing. That's why I was saying earlier, like, you just don't see it like that. And so the platform that John has with the organization, with their organization, I think is going to be great for people. So if you're out there and you've had this vision, this is something that you're looking for when it comes to time freedom, and you have the things that John suggested. And so if you're just logging on, then go back and listen to some of the other parts of the video, so you'll have some of those suggestions that John talked about on how to get started. And let's see if you can find your time freedom, because I think as an entrepreneur, that's the thing that I enjoy most. I can make more money.
Right.
It's almost like you can create it, but my time, that's one thing that I can't get back. So having time freedom, being an entrepreneur, is a big deal.
No, I mean, because this is the time. This is the holiday season. John spoke about it earlier. This is when everyone's formulating those New Year's resolutions, when you're making those internal promises to yourself. Let's get the ball rolling today.
Yeah.
And we're at the point of the show, Larry, and I'm sure you're excited as always, because what we try to do here, John, at the end of every episode is have what we call a real estate myth buster. And we'd like to discuss some of the things that our guests have heard in their profession that they would absolutely love to dispel today. So, as always, Larry.
You know, that's a good one. John, I guess I'm going to throw it to you. Is there something, you know, and I think about it when it comes to funding, right? Because I think that a lot of times it's the heavy lifting that we've always thought. And so is there, when it comes to someone seeking funding, is it a minimum amount that they have to get? Like, a lot of times people think if they're not getting 50 grand, they can't get a loan at all. So is that true or false? Or how is that looked at now?
Well, I mean, there isn't necessarily a minimum amount, a minimum amount that you can get, and in reality, there isn't a maximum. And quite frankly, the kind of funding that we get is expandable. So it's possible for our clients to grow it over time.
Wow. Okay.
So so no matter what you start with, and we share that with you after you get the financing, or not so much after, but during the process, we'll show you ways on how you can expand it and make best use of it.
Okay.
And in terms of any specific myths on it, I mean, the biggest one is I'm going to say is just the myth that you have to have a long experienced business to get business funding.
Yeah,
it's just not true. You don't have to go through a long process. You don't have to. Actually, no. One of the biggest myths that I like to say is you don't have to go get a paydex. There are different types of business funding, and one of the ones that people talk about is where you get an E-line card. You have to get a bunch of different vendors, and then you'll get access to credit, and that takes 6 months to a year. We're getting people access to funding in 3 weeks or less. So if you're interested in the shortest route to getting access to funding for your business, RocketSpeedFunding.com. I'd encourage you to reach out to us online or contact me directly. My direct number is 832-225-4202. You can contact me directly, or you can go to the website and just contact us there. But that's one thing I'd say. This is a funding myth.
That's outstanding. Mr. Brooks.
Yes, sir.
Are there any activities, speaking engagements, where you'll be appearing in the near future where people who might would like to take the opportunity to come out and meet you can do that?
I'm just planning on enjoying the holidays like everyone else, right? And so now my enjoying the holidays is a little different. I still do work, right?
Exactly.
I believe in you squeeze a few hours out on Sunday where you don't work, but every other day I plan on working. But I enjoy my working holidays. But no. If you most definitely go to LarryWBrooks.com, that give you an opportunity to see my calendar, see what I have going on, and follow me through the social media sites at Texas Real Estate King. And again, guys, please take an opportunity to share this the video, or share this the podcast with your friends. And I'm going to go back and look at the numbers, and I'm going to be giving away again this beautiful Texans basket. We're 10-4 right now, so we're winning. You're going to get successful gear, and it's for you and a companion. So it's not just it's a set for two. So it's got over a $500 value to it. So,
wow.
That's outstanding.
Better share it.
Let's go.
Better share it.
And because I've been told that I don't share my contact information enough on the episodes, I want everyone who's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And if you are leasing or renting currently and your lease is scheduled to expire within the next 90 days, reach out to me now. You can reach me directly at 469-431-0495. As always, on behalf of our guests, Mr. John Stampley, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, I'm Rick Davis. I want to wish everyone happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing you all next week on the Prime Real Estate Network.
Thanks again.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.